A stepsister tier list. There are some pretty impressive stepsisters out there. That's not bad. Fast 5 pulled off the greatest real stunt in history. Did they actually do this safe thing? That wasn't CGI? That's kind of fucking nuts. I think this was the movie that finally set the Fast and Furious franchise down the path.
After it was thought to have stalled out completely.
I thought he was about to say the same thing I was about to say.
So unbelievably silly, but executed just right that it took this outrageous scenario and rewired what the eventual new era of this now 20-year-long franchise would become. Say what you will about Fast films after 5, but there is a reason that Fast 5 is regarded as a fan favorite out of all of them. You see, that vault scene we just looked at a few seconds ago, that was real. That
Holy shit!
2 cars dragging a 9,000-pound vault through the streets of Rio de Janeiro, smashing it through real constructed buildings, ramming it into real...
They should get back to this kind of shit.
Audience in the seat with you, and then they feel like they're a part of it, and that's what makes it exciting and entertaining.
The film still having a connection with reality at that perfect line. This is a jump the building moment. Yes, I meant to say.
Does Fast and Furious still use actual stunts?
In the 5th film, and then this scene in the 7th film, where in a car,
I imagine the answer is no.
Between 2 of the most famous towers in Abu Dhabi, a feat that you know inherently is impossible to do, and you get a different emotion. There was a lot of fantastic stunt work putting that scene together to make it look like it happened. The only difference is that the full sequence that edited together didn't actually happen as shown in the film.
It's all green screen now?
Damn. Scenario so ludicrous
sounds
that
about
on
right.
paper sounds impossible, but was pulled off not just for
Thanks, reset
effectiveness
board.
in the film, but in reaction as well, without making it mostly CGI like future Fast and Furious films. Once free and outside of the police garage, the brakes aren't pumped on the planned action as the first turn out of the garage tosses the momentum of, again, a real 9,000-pound vault, flying past cars behind.
I imagine you can only do this
barriers
one
while the camera
time.
moves along a dolly low to the ground, almost being destroyed by the vault rolling right on top of it. The fact that this was the only time they took a guess as to where the camera may not get hit, since they would have no clue where the force of the rolling vault would crush it, is pretty remarkable. They went and built real structures with the intent of having them destroyed. That means that one little mess up could cost the production thousands, if not millions, to set it all up and rebuild it again. There was very little margin for error. Luckily,
Yeah, I imagine there's only one take you can really do of it.
Began planning and practicing the exact dimensions of where everything needs to be upwards of 3 to 4 months before filming. Now, unforeseen mess ups do happen from time to time. For example, here's this motorcycle stunt where the rider had special back tires to launch.
That's why they don't do it anymore. Yeah, which is a real shame.
As to make sure he doesn't land incorrectly and get entered by the crash, but he misses the timing with his footing, which resulted in them hitting their knees on the bike's handlebars, throwing them headfirst onto one car, and flipping shoulder first into the windshield of another, thus breaking the stunt actor's shoulders. He was only off from his planned jump by 1 millisecond. That's how precise and how down to the wire these stunts come.
What a fucking awful job.
Choreography alone for this Fast 5
Holy
scene was
shit.
with maneuvers hard enough for a regular car and an experienced
That sounds so terrible.
Additionally, adding the 4.5-ton vault to it.
Oh my
you can see
god.
where that might create problems. Like right here with the reverse 180 move.
That's gotta be one of the most dangerous jobs in the world.
Reverse, pushing the vault after escaping the cops on one street with Dom still towing the vault in the front. After turning a quarter and keeping the line, having to now, along the side of the vault, speed past it in reverse. And that's what comes across on screen. In one earlier part of the chase, cop cars are moving in a way that appears that they're coming right at the pair. So they each pull off and drive to the side.
There's so many cuts here, it really doesn't look like it's a real stunt.
That previous example, that margin of error being small, this is another example of something that could have easily gone wrong if off by just the smallest of variables. But let's look more closely. To create diversions for the cops and to properly look as they were swinging the vault into a bunch of parked cars, they didn't just need an actual vault. They needed to specially design 3 in particular. Of course, we have the real one shown in almost every scene, but especially fitted semi-truck would follow Dom and Brian and careen into all the cars at the right time. Again, down to the milliseconds for maximum effect on screen. All assisted by, again, the vault. Or take the scenes where the vault is shown going past a bus full of pedestrians, which would be...
I'd really like to see just the straight up footage of what it looked like without all of this sped up footage and cutting.
A serious control of that building. Now here,
do they have that footage? Surely they have that somewhere, right? Because he showed a little of it. I'm imagining they have most of it. Maybe this? Oh, raw footage. That's much better. Well, that didn't work. All I can really find is this, and then there's this big video, but I imagine this is just the whole movie. I really just only want the vault part. Well, let me see.
Built all the steps, built the glass, put it all in there. And when it hits it here, we put a guy in the foreground, which is what I told you about before, to give it a sense of danger. It looks like he's only a few feet away from the vault. But
They should have actually just put a guy there.
lens, a long lens.
Fuck it.
It makes
Make it real.
our stuntman right here look like he's a lot closer to the vault than he really is. But this is just the first piece of a multi.
I should have put him like right in the path and then just asked him to get out of the way in time. If he makes it, he makes it. If he doesn't, damn, that's gonna look really fucking cool in the movie, I guess. It is a pretty impressive stunt.
Controlled by a semi-truck, like in the example before. That's done by constructing a real building with people inside and a ram that would push the vault on a track to propel it across the entire inside of the building, while the people inside...
Kind of like in
were
Terminator
launched so
3,
all
I know they
could
did
shoot
something
to death.
similar.
But again, not everything goes as planned. Another example of this are on top of all that, they now had to add a special tubing system, leading the fresh air outside into the vault so the driver could breathe while driving.
So
Not the
much
first thing
effort
that
into
comes
this.
to the finale
Now
of
it's
the
just
heist
CGI.
ends
You
with
can have like
the
9
bridge,
college
where now
students
it's
do
just
this.
Dom
It
dragging
looks like
safe
shit compared to
in an
this.
attempt to spin the car around and drive headfirst at his pursuers. This 180 move here was planned to the exact measurements with such a small window that there was literally no room for error at all, according to the stunt coordinator. Not even an inch. After that, as Dom is taking out the cop cars,
Like
one
there was
car
some
gets
Steak and
completely cut in
Spidey
half by the
and
tethering
Story.
cable. That car had a real person in it who had to make sure they ducked at the exact right
What?
second, else he would turn out just like the car did.
Wait,
In the end,
what
when
the
Bolt's momentum
fuck?
lifts the Charger into the air, they used cranes. And in the end,
Is that, like, you can do that? Because if this guy, like, for some reason was a little slow, he would have just absolutely been decapitated. That's okay. Like, in the sake of filmmaking, I had no idea you could put the actors in that much danger, like the stunt team. Oh my god. Wait, that's nuts. I know, like, older movies, I remember they used real people in, like, a helicopter scene where they're gonna try and, like, chop people with a helicopter or something. Or maybe I'm misremembering. I remember there were stunt people who died in a helicopter stunt where they got, like, fucking chopped up by the blades or something crazy. It was the Twilight Zone movie? That's what I'm thinking of? Okay. Yeah, this is nuts. I had no idea you could even put somebody in this kind of harm. Fuck, that's wild.
all of this is insane. Thoroughly planned, technical, and practical work.
I mean, it did pay off. This is
Imagine
considered
what
like
that
the
goes
best
into
Fast
the
and
entire
Furious
movie's
movie.
Runtime. Film stunt coordinators were told this wouldn't be possible to pull off this bank heist scene here, but they did it. This was real with real stakes. If anything went wrong, well, those stakes would come to fruition. Aside from a few injuries and some last-minute fixes to unforeseen problems, the crew of Fast 5 was able to immerse the audience by not telling you that this can be done, but by showing you it can be
The
done. before you
filmmaking
even
really
imagine
betrays the
that something like
impressive
this
nature
is
of
or is
this,
not
'cause I thought
possible.
this was
Whether you enjoy the
absolutely
Fast
fake.
franchise or not, you have to respect the hard work that was put into creating the realness you see on screen. The authenticity, as much as you can call it that. Obviously, these are still stunts. And while these films may not always be my particular cup of tea, as someone who respects the process,
That's really cool. I had no idea. They need to fire whoever films these movies, though. Because if they're doing, like, real shit like that vault, they cannot have 9,000 cuts just from shifting gears. Because, I mean, you'll have Paul Walker in that movie, and he'll, like, look down, it'll cut to his hand on the shifter, cut back up to Paul Walker, cut down to his hand again, he'll slowly shift back to Paul, back to gear. Like, it's awful. Like, I really thought that was a very fake scene. Super impressive that it's not, though. Stunts definitely are dangerous. Remember Brandon Lee? Well, yeah, but that's an accident. Brandon Lee didn't go into a stunt where the risk was he might be decapitated. Brandon Lee got what was it? He got too close to a gun that shot a blank, and the blank came out and killed him, right? That wasn't planned. It wasn't supposed to be him being that close. Brandon Lee was Bruce Lee's son. He died on the Crow set. It was meant to be a blank, but it was real. There's so many conflicting reports. I heard and read that it was a real blank, but what people don't understand is even real blanks have like a small projectile that come out apparently, which I didn't know. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I read some fake fanfic. I couldn't tell you. But from what I understand, blanks have a small projectile that comes out at the very tip. So maybe that's wrong, but that's what I read with the Brandon Lee death. Blanks have a cardboard tip on the end rather than a lead one, so that any impact the bullet would have once fired from the gun would be minimal, if any. During a scene in which a victim looks down the barrel of a gun being loaded, it was discovered that there were no blanks on set. In an effort to save time, the prop guy took live bullets from the car and modified them into blanks, also creating dummy rounds which don't have gunpowder but kept the lead tip to be used for close-ups. Unbeknownst to anyone on set, when the dummy round was loaded into the gun for the last shot, the lead tip got lodged in the barrel. So that's what happened. I wasn't necessarily fed wrong information about blanks having a small projectile because it looks like they use a cardboard tip, but that was not what happened here. Tom Cruise does all of his stunts, yet Tom Cruise would be such a fucking badass if he wasn't so into Scientology. He's like a really nice guy on set, apparently, real nice to the staff. He does all his own stunts. He sometimes finances movies out of his own pocket. Like, he seems like a fucking cool guy. And then he's like literally shaking kids down for their lunch money at the Scientology church. Unlucky. Have you seen The Man Who Spends $70K in a mobile game? Yeah, isn't it for the Final Fantasy game? Oh, it's not Final Fantasy, it's Fate. That's what it was. Only 70K? True, this is nothing compared to the Black Desert Online guy. Black Desert Online guy spent 160K. And more. This is kind of old. Have you seen Taken 3 jumping over the fence scene? Yeah, everyone's seen that. This is the gold standard for, like, shitty modern movie making techniques. Yeah. Classic scene, to be honest. One of the best. It's 18 cuts in 7 seconds, if I remember correctly. Oh, it's 27 cuts. Oh, everyone's giving different numbers. I don't know. It's somewhere between 10 and 50 cuts. There, we can do that. We can say that. You seen Queenie in Trouble? That sounds really familiar. I think we have. This? 1930s?
For the sweetest little girl in the world.
This just makes me uncomfortable. I just feel weird. I don't like this. It's very odd.
Oh, how dare you! I'm going right home.
This is... I feel like I'm gonna have a nightmare tonight now.
And you can't get out.
Oh, help! Don't you hear me?
This is just making me feel weird. I didn't like that at all. That was uncomfortable. That was fucking weird. I think I say that about everything that's old, though. Like, if something's pre-1960s, me watching it just makes me uncomfortable. Like, my skin crawls. I just don't like it. Most expensive toilets? Didn't we do that? Hold on, just give me 1 second. I think Tiana just went to bed. Thanks a prime blarg. I'll be right back. I'm back. Alright, which one? This? The $6 million one? Or this? We'll do this one.
Some of the world's most expensive toilets are so valuable that they're worth more than the average American home. I don't even know how to feel about that, but your commode is probably ceramic, and there are some toilets that are made of solid gold. Forget the fuzzy toilet seat cover, there's even a latrine with a diamond-encrusted seat. In Japan, there are expensive toilets with high-tech controls, and there's even a state-of-the-art bog on the International Space Station that's worth millions.
Wow.
One of the toilets on this list is so valuable that thieves swiped it from a museum. Here's a look at the most expensive toilets in the world. The most expensive toilet in the world isn't actually on Earth at all. The toilet in the International Space Station.
It looks like
is
such a
worth
terrible
$23
shitter, though. It
million.
looks awful.
It's so expensive because it's basically a miniature water treatment system. On Earth, only dogs drink out of the toilet, but in space, so can astronauts. What? I'm intrigued. The International Space Station toilet recycles urine into drinking water.
Oh.
The NASA-designed space toilet has a funnel for suctioning urine, a removable waste compactor where astronauts
What about
dispose of
shit?
their droppings, and a seat with a protruding lip around the small opening to
What?
help an astronaut aim. The state-of-the-art toilet is a huge improvement over the International Space Station's previous latrine, which was purchased from Russian aerospace company RSC Energia for
Whoa,
$19
my
million.
God.
The new toilet was designed to better suit female astronauts, as the toilet seat and urine funnel have been modified. Finally, NASA's brand new state-of-the-art
It looks
toilet
so
will
old-fashioned.
also travel to the moon. A model identical to the one on the International Space Station will be installed in NASA's Orion spacecraft. Astronauts will use the high-tech potty when they travel to the moon during the Artemis II mission.
So the
Spacecraft
only thing
are
that
heading to
stops
Mars
shit
will
from getting in
also
the
use
treatment
this type of
system is a
toilet.
small covering?
Elon Musk might just have to add one of these toilets to his shopping list. This golden toilet is actually a...
Did I understand that correctly? So the only thing that separates the pee-pee and the poo-poo is a small little plastic covering? Like, that can't be... That cannot be 100% protective. Like, I imagine it's gonna make all of your water, which apparently comes from pee-pee, taste like actual shit.
fully functioning toilet made of 18-karat gold. The golden commode was created by Italian artist Maurizio Catalan, and it was installed in the bathroom of the Guggenheim Museum in New York. Visitors could actually use the toilet while it was on display, and a special cleaning routine was put in place to ensure the toilet remained shiny and pristine. Unfortunately, if you want to see this amazing work of art for yourself, you're out of luck. The toilet was lent to Blenheim Palace Museum in the UK in 2019, and shortly after being installed, the golden toilet was stolen. Hey Mom, look, I made it. I'm stealing golden toilets. Police had made numerous arrests, but the work of art has not been recovered. Some people even think Catalan himself stole the toilet as a prank. Well, that's actually funny. It's quite possible no one will ever see this toilet again in person. It may have been melted down and hidden somewhere in the countryside. Some people just can't get enough of gold, so it's no surprise that there's more than one gold toilet in the world. Hong Kong-based jewelry maker Hongfeng Technology
that one doesn't look
created a
nearly as cool.
toilet to display in its showroom. The display featured more than just a gold toilet. Hongfeng built an entire bathroom out of gold. It might seem strange that something so lavish and capitalistic was inspired by communism, but Say Wing was inspired by one of Lenin's famous quotes: "The most appropriate thing to do with gold would be to build public toilets." If you ever get a chance to visit the Hongfeng Gold Technology showroom, be prepared to wear plastic covers over your shoes. All visitors must stick to this policy so the floors of the gold bathroom don't get scuffed. Stunning masterpiece.
Ew.
The most diamonds in a toilet seat.
Not enough
the
gold.
Diamond in the rim is bulletproof. If you were thinking about putting this incredibly expensive toilet in your bathroom, you're out of luck. Moon Lake Sculpture Park is a restroom that's part of a 10,000-foot man-made cave. If you want to do your business in nature but still have your privacy, then this is the perfect place. $750,000 was spent to create the bizarre cave bathroom, and sculptors spent more than a year making sure everything was perfect. The rest of the area is so popular that 10,000 guests visit the park every year. If you partake in some 3-star Michelin omakase, you can head over to the Lixil showroom and test out the company's $130,000
Oh, not even $1 million.
Gross.
Brand. I would never shit in there.
Fixtures company Lixil
disgusting.
created
Not even a
crystal
mill.
commode to bring joy to the people of Japan. This luxurious loo is decked out in 72,000 Swarovski crystals.
Swarovski? Oh my god, not even good, not even cool crystals.
Plenty of
oh my god.
Shops, but this crystal-studded toilet is one of a kind. This toilet is fit for a king.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't. By now, you're probably aware of how cool Japanese toilets are. We're stuck with boring old porcelain toilets in the West, but in Japan, our toilets are high-tech and futuristic. Okay, not all of them. Japan still has plenty of old-fashioned squat toilets. If you've ever had to use one, you know the struggle. Japan is known as a land of contrasts, and that's true when it comes to toilets. The complete opposite of a Japanese squat toilet is the NeoRest NX2 Japanese squat toilet.
Look at that bad boy.
$11,000 state-of-the-art latrine automatically opens when you walk up to it, and the toilet lid closes when you leave. You'll never have to worry about being yelled at by your significant other for leaving the toilet seat up. We've all been there. The NeoRest NX2 cleans your nether regions with a spray wand after you've done your business, and the built-in air dryer whisks away the water after you're clean. Forget the Lysol toilet bowl cleaner. This toilet cleans itself with ionized water. When you wake up in the morning, there will be no better feeling than sitting on a NeoRest NX2 as the seat is heated, leaving your buns nice and toasty. If you have $11,000 lying around, you might want to splurge and pick up one of these incredible toilets. After all, you deserve it. Did you know that the United States uses more toilet water than any other country in the world?
That sounds about right.
The average American goes through 141 rolls of toilet paper every year. Stay tuned to this channel for more great videos.
Nice. But pooping outside is free. True. Pooping inside is also free. Who's charging you to take a shit? What are you talking about? Water company. Checkmate. No golden bidet that sprays diamond-filtered water. Weak. Agreed. I was pretty disappointed. Once it started getting to the sub-mil, I started to wonder what's the point. Why even buy a toilet if it's not $1 million?